Lincoln's elected in 1860, and the southern states realize, or at least they believe, that slavery is going to go away. And they decide that they're going to leave. They try to secede or try to leave the Union. South Carolina gets the ball rolling in December 20th of 1860. They hold a convention, I believe, in Charleston. And what they ask in this convention, they ask one question, and that is, how shall we sustain African slavery in South Carolina from a series of annoying attacks? And what they decide is that they're going to leave the Union. By February of 1860, the other lower states have left as well. We'd call them the deep southern states. And you can see here the election map. Basically, what we're looking at are those light blue states, right? So they leave, and they start taking federal forts because Buchanan decided that he can't really do anything about it. So Buchanan, in the lame duck session, he's still president. Lincoln hasn't taken over yet. He just kind of lets him do it. In fact, what he tries to do is he comes up with a compromise we're going to talk about later. But here's the interesting thing. All of those southern states wrote declarations, and let me read them up for you. So Georgia writes in their Declaration of Secession, for the last 10 years, we have numerous and serious causes of complaint against our non-slave-holding Confederate states with reference to the subject of African slavery. They have endeavored to weaken our security, to disturb our domestic peace and tranquility, and persistently refuse to comply with their express constitutional obligations in reference to that property, slaves. Mississippi, oh my goodness, our position is thoroughly identified with the institution of slavery, the greatest material interest in the world. Its labor supplies, the product of which constitutes by far the largest and most important portion of the commerce on earth, cotton production. These products are peculiar to the climate virgin on the tropical regions. It's hot in the south. And by the imperious law of nature, none but the black race can bear the exposure to the tropical sun. Texas! Texas, was received as a commonwealth holding, maintaining, and protecting the institution known as Negro slavery, the servitude of the African race to the white race within her limits, the relation that had existed from the first settlement of her wilderness by the white race in which her people intend should exist in all future time. South Carolina. In the present case, the fact is established with certainty. We assert the 14 of the states deliberately refused, those northern states, for the past year to fulfill their constitutional obligations, and we refer to their own statutes for proof. The Constitution of the United States, in its 4th article, provides as follows: no person held in service or labor in one state under the laws thereof escaping into another shall, in consequence of any law, be discharged from service or labor, but shall be delivered upon the claim of the party to whom the service and labor may be due. They're crying because the Fugitive Slave Act is not being enforced by the Northerners. There is going to be a narrative that comes out after the Civil War that slavery had nothing to do with the Civil War. They wrote it down in their declarations of secession. Then they went and created a constitution that enshrined slavery in the Confederate States of America. They select Jefferson Davis as president from Mississippi, who's going to go on and try to protect slavery and try to keep the Confederate States going. His own vice president, Alexander Stephens, said this about their new nation. It's called the Cornerstone Speech. Our new government is founded upon exactly the opposite idea. Its foundations are laid, its cornerstones rest upon the great truth that the Negro is not equal to the white man, that slavery, subordination to the superior race, is his natural and normal condition. This, our new government, is the first in the history of the world based upon this great philosophical, physical, and moral truth.